Hi again then guys, and so we've got another GranTurismo 6 updated prototype tune for you today, and this time it's for the 1999 Le Mans winning BMW V12 LMR with a pretty unique engine among the Le Mans class, a 6-litre V12. So you want your racing soft tyres of course. For suspension, again, pretty much the same as many of these other updated prototypes. Rear ride height slammed to the floor, front 10mm higher, springs on 17, dampers on 1 for compression, 3 for extension, anti-roll as low as possible with camber and toe neutral. For the gearbox, we want an auto setting of 280, then we've rounded off the gears to 2.9, 1.8, 1.3, 1, 800 and 600 with a final drive of 3.3. For the diff, we've got the lowest initial torque, highest acceleration and lowest braking, high RPM turbo obviously, and your downforce set as low as possible. Traction control is of course turned off. And so this is kind of an underdog in some ways on GranTurismo 6. You don't see a huge amount of people using it. In fact, to be honest, I've never known of many people since this car's been included on GranTurismo as far back as GT4. I've never known that many people who really genuinely use this car a lot. You get some people who use it here and there, but for the most part it tends to get kind of overshadowed by the slightly more obvious choices like the GT1, the 787B, the R92CP, that kind of thing. Especially now that we have almost the latest ones like the 908 and the Audi R10, it's really got pushed to the back of the pack. That said, it's a very good car in its own right. It has what I would consider to be, although not premium, one of the best interior views of any of the prototypes. I know it's not full quality, but the view of the road that you get is just so open compared to all of the others. It feels like such a good driving position to be in. But that's just me, of course. Overall, it has quite a distinctive look compared to the rest of them. Relatively simple looking if you actually consider the shape of the car. Not very many aerodynamic appendages. Very simple rear wing. The body itself looks very clean, very smooth. Kind of like it's been flattened. A flattened version of an existing racing car almost. Pretty distinctive paint job as well. Pretty simple, but at the same time distinctive. Now, as far as performance, my existing tune on this one did about 270, so we've increased that up to 280 now. As far as the handling, it's very good on the corner. Partially because, of course, it is a newer machine, an LMP 900 machine, and they do handle better in general. Now, as far as draft potential, as you can see, you do actually have a little bit, slightly more than some of the others. You've got about probably 500 or 600 RPM of draft potential, so you should quite easily get this thing up around the 290 region, maybe 295. I wouldn't have thought it would get to 300, but it may well do. I haven't actually used it in a top speed race. But if, of course, with all of these tunes, or with any of my top speed tunes in general, if you do need extra top speed, obviously just extend that final drive a little bit lower. But overall, it's a very good car for two reasons in particular, because although the top speed isn't going to break any records in the Le Mans class, it's, as I said, very good for two particular reasons. One is for its power. It's not among the most powerful of prototypes. It's got well under 1,000 horsepower. In fact, it has less power than the Panos GTR1, but it's a lot quicker than that car. And it's also one of the much lower PP prototypes. It's under 700, whereas most of them are well over it, sometimes even over 710, or some even over 720. Or some, in the case of the Peugeot 908 or Delta Wing, can even go above 730 pp. So this car has, in relation to those vehicles, much more spec in a much lower category. So it does really have some great advantages that most people don't really take the time to think of. And it's just a very good all-round car anyway. I mentioned that in my Spirit of Le Mans series for this car. It's one of the best all-round Le Mans cars. It's very good at a lot of things. So, if you haven't tried the V12 LMR before, I would actually recommend that you give it a try, because it's a very, very good machine. And, I mean, the proof is in the victory. It won the 1999 Le Mans. So, If you're new to the channel or just found this helpful or of course interesting in general, feel free to slap that subscribe button to keep up with videos like this every day. And as always, thanks for watching.